Level 1. The Thrall. You wake on a dirt floor, wrists raw from rope. 3 days ago, you were home. Then 16 longships came from the fog. They burned what they didn't want and took the rest, including you. You are a thrall now, a slave. You wake first, work last, eat whatever's left, sleep with the goats. No rights. If you run and get caught, they cut a notch in your ear so every village knows what you are. You decide in that cold dark that you will be free before you die. Not a hope. Level 2. The Carl 4 years. Never complain. Never run. Make Gunnar's farm run better than it ever did. He hands you a parchment, 3 silver coins, and says good luck. Then goes back inside. You are a Carl now. Free. You work, save, rent land. You have rights. But you're ordinary. You find Sigurd in the next valley. 6 expeditions, back from all 6. You ask to join. He asks if you've killed anyone. Not yet. He almost smiles. Be at the coast in 2 weeks. You go. Level 3. The Vikinger. The longship is faster than you can believe. The target, a monastery at dawn. You run up the path as the screaming starts. Your first kill happens in 3 seconds. A guard with a spear and no plan. You stand over him feeling nothing. 3 more raids. Each one gets slightly less complicated in your head. You come home with silver. More than farming produced all season. You're a Vikinger now. You lived. That means you go back. Level 4. The Huskarl 11 expeditions. Your name travels before you do. A Jarl sends a messenger. He wants proven men for his household guard. A Huskarl. Sworn loyalty in exchange for everything. Food, shelter, weapons, silver. A seat at his table. The Jarl is Halvard. Quiet for a man of his power. He teaches you that the best fighters understand 3 things. Where they are, who they're fighting, and why the other man will make a mistake. For the first time since the longships came from the fog, you feel secure. Like something worth protecting. Level 5. The Berserker. The narrow pass. 3 men on your left went down. Through the gap came a lot of angry men, and in 4 seconds controlled became catastrophic. What happened after, you don't fully remember. When it was over, you were 40 feet from where you started, bleeding from 2 places, axe still raised. Halvard was looking at you with an expression you'd never seen on him, reverence. When you enter the state, enemies know it immediately. Something in you hits something older than rational thought. Something that says run. Most don't run fast enough. The cost, the day after, you can barely function. You are a different kind of weapon now. Everyone treats you accordingly. Level 6. The Styrimater. 34 years old. Halvard gives you your first ship. Not a gift. An investment. Ship captain. 60 feet of longship. 32 men. Your authority. You lose your first man overboard in a storm. 2 more in an ambush you should have anticipated. Those 3 weigh differently than men killed in battle. You become obsessive. Watch every target a full day first. Always have a withdrawal route. Study weather like scripture. You lose your ship once, to a storm. Your crew survives. You tell Halvard every mistake. He listens. Then commissions you a new ship. By 40, 23 expeditions. You are a problem for a significant number of powerful people. You find this deeply satisfying. Level 7. The Herseer. The previous Herseer died in a dispute. Halvard gives you the Eastern Coastal Territory. Local war leader. You command fighters and captains, but also farms, fishing villages, trading posts. The violent edge exists to protect and fund everything else. It takes 2 years before the territory actually feels yours. At night, you trace the distance from Gunnar's outbuilding to here. Thrall, freeman, raider, warrior, berserker, captain. This. You file everything you've observed about how Jarls operate. You say nothing. You wait. Level 8, the Scald. A winter injury keeps you off ships. You begin composing verse. You discover you're extremely good at it. In the Norse world, the Scald is not entertainment. He's historian, propagandist, instrument of power. Verse survives. You compose a praise poem for Halvard and perform it before a gathering of jarls. The room goes quiet. Halvard's eyes are wet by the third stanza. He hands you a gold ring and says nothing. You begin composing strategically. The sword controls the present. The word controls the future. The role gives you access no military rank can. Inner rooms, private conversations. What men say when they trust the poet the way they trust priests. You learn where every alliance is fragile. You learn everything. Level 9. The Jarl Halvard dies in winter. His son Eric takes the title. You give it 2 seasons. Eric isn't cruel. He's simply insufficient. The border dispute you managed cleanly comes back. Eric raids, turns a manageable enemy into a committed one. 2 ships lost, 12 dead. The Hersires begin to talk. You don't start the conversations. You're present in them. The thing is called. Eric argues with dignity. You argue with the discipline of a man who has composed persuasive verse for years. The vote goes to you. You are a jarl. A son of 7 watches everything you do with the careful eyes of a child who understands he's watching his future. Above you, 1 position remains. A king rules jarls. The north is fragmented. The right moment may be approaching. Level 10. The konungr, 53 years old. The last rival king agrees to your terms. Not 1 battle. A decade of careful work. Alliances activated precisely. Rivals isolated before confrontation. When direct conflict came, it was short because you'd spent years making sure it would be. 3 kingdoms become 1. You are called konungr, king. You hold court in the same hall where you once sat at Halvard's lower tables, watching how power moved and studying for a test you didn't know you were taking. But you were. Kingship is not what you expected. Not ceremonies. The specific loneliness of being the final decision. Every farmer, warrior, merchant, child across 3 kingdoms. The arithmetic of who lives differently because of how you ruled is invisible, but real. On a clear morning, you stand on a cliff above the sea. The same gray-green water as the day you arrived here as a slave. 49 years ago, you woke on a dirt floor with rope burns on your wrists. You were a slave who refused to believe that was the end of the story. The sea doesn't care. It never did. You built the rest yourself.